All right, so in this video, I have the brand new Nike VaporMax 2021 FlyKnit, and I'm excited to show you guys these and see what they changed from the previous version, because they do, at first glance, you look at it, you go, yeah, it's the VaporMax. Like, you don't really look at this and think there's a lot of different changes from the previous year, but I wanted to go ahead and cover some of the changes that I found on this shoe right here. So let's go ahead and jump right into this video. What is going on, guys? My name is Hess, and hopefully you guys are having a good day out there. If you guys haven't used my site, Collective Kicks, that is my website where I basically post a bunch of sneaker deals for you guys out there. If you guys are trying to buy a pair of these, check the link in the description, and you can head over to Hibbett Sports site, which is the people that sent me this pair of sneakers right here. Big shout out to Hibbett Sports. This is one of those ones that I definitely wanted to try out because it's the latest and greatest as usual. And if you haven't used Hibbett Sports website yet or downloaded the app yet, you should probably do it. They have a lot of Jordans and Yeezys and stuff like that that end up dropping as well. And then you can always be notified of what's coming through the pipes on their release calendar. So some of the product details about the new VaporMax: it says modern meets classic in a thoughtfully crafted Nike Air VaporMax 2021 FlyKnit. Particle gray colorway is this one. Made from at least 40% recycled materials by weight, the Nike Air VaporMax 2021 FlyKnit is airy and easy to wear with its super stretchy recycled FlyKnit and soft collar that sculpts your ankle. The stitched on swoosh and recycled TPU heel clip add a splash of intrigue as you float down the streets in incredibly soft VaporMax cushioning. Originally designed for running, the revolutionary VaporMax 2 air unit is made with at least 40% recycled contents by weight and provides more air underfoot than ever before. It's the first one-piece air unit to run the entire length of the shoe. It allows a smoother transition and adds unbelievable cushioning. The stretchy and supportive FlyKnit upper is made from a post-industry recycled yarn and creates a striking visual that's seamless, breathable, and feels light as air. The traditional lacing adds ease of entry, while webbing eye stays adds a modern look. Collar looks sleek and feels great, while padding in the heel adds comfort. Nike grind rubber details for added traction and durability. So I know 2020 was pretty much a blur, but if you missed out on the 2020 VaporMax, they definitely had a lot of different stylings than the very first pair that I have here. So this is the one that I always bring it back to because I've done a lot of videos with these ones in the past, and it's honestly my favorite pair to wear probably still, other than the off-white ones that I have over there somewhere. But this is just such a good colorway. Like, first of all, it's like OG-ish sort of colorway, but then it has that upper that it just kind of brings me back. And honestly, I wouldn't be mad at Nike if in another 3 years or so they started retroing the very first VaporMax, because I think that the styling in general on this one I like better than anything that they've released since then. But you guys leave a comment if you guys agree or disagree. But anyway, the 2020 version had the recycled materials on it as well. It had the same box as this one, and also it had a very interesting lockdown. So it had some flywire laces that had a little, it looked like a pedometer or something like that you just stuck right here on the front of your shoe. Honestly, I did some videos on it and I wasn't overly impressed because I felt like it was pretty cheaply made and probably could have broke pretty easily. But if you guys had the 2020 VaporMax and you never had any issues, leave a comment. Or if you had some issues, of course, leave a comment. I would love to see that, because I didn't actually wear my pair that much. I wore it a handful of times and I don't even know where they are. I think I ended up selling them. And they also had a pull tab thing on the back that pulled the laces snug. This has the traditional laces on it, as they already mentioned. I do like that the FlyKnit upper is recycled, as they mentioned, and it looks recycled. Like, it basically looks like a t-shirt in the wash when moms decides to wash like your blue jeans with your t-shirts. That's kind of the overall grayish bluish color that you're left with here. So yeah, I mean, it's not the best on your shirt, but it looks good on these shoes. I think that they do exaggerate the stretchiness of this yarn. It's not that stretchy, honestly, comparative to some of the other products out there like PrimeKnit, but this is still good. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still a nice material, and it feels good on feet. And I even tried them on without socks on, and it felt really nice on feet. I mean, it didn't feel like crazy rough or rigid or anything like that. So it is a nice product, and I'm sure it's made well because, you know, Nike does tend to make good products, and they do usually last pretty long. As I mentioned, it has the same exact outsole, midsole thing going on here with the VaporMax's second version. I do think that the second version, for those people that are curious, the second version actually is a little bit more narrow than the first version. So side by side, you actually have a little bit of wider platform, which isn't saying much because the VaporMax is extremely narrow as well. So if you have a wider foot like myself, sometimes it's a little bit rockety feeling in the VaporMax, but it's something that you get used to as you're walking around. You don't feel unsafe by any means. It just definitely does take some getting used to. One of my favorite details, though, is the recycled grind insole here. I love how crazy and vibrant this thing looks on the bottom, and that little pinwheel swoosh on the back here. I love to see that thing too. Definitely a nice look right there. Pull tabs on it. Has some front and the back. It has VaporMax branding on the tongue right here, and then the Nike Swoosh on the back. And then on the heel cup here, it's a translucent kind of lime color, and it does say VaporMax across the back section. I do like also the recycled grind on the bottom of the shoes. I do like that they changed the tongue up as well though from the previous, so it's an attached, detached tongue, similar to this pair right here, the OG pair, which I like. I like that it's kind of attached and then detached on the top. So it gives it a little bit of style points, and then also just, I don't know, it's easier to get on when you have a little bit of a wider foot. The heel cushioning right here is actually pretty nice as well. Definitely a step up, or just a little bit better than on the original pairs. Although the original pairs didn't bother my feet at all, you can definitely feel like you're stepping into a more cushioned shoe on this pair. However, I really do like the overall shape of the OGs a little bit better than the newer models, but you know, I'm just a little bit biased. You have some nice reinforcement on the toe guard of the shoe right here, and it also has that same kind of lime color, which I think is kind of nice. It's a little bit more transparent than on the back, but it's probably because it's a little bit thinner. So 5 Captain Obvious differences between this one and the previous version of the 2020 FlyKnit. The first major difference is that little pedometer thing. That thing's missing on this pair, and the second thing, they went with traditional laces, so it doesn't use that fly wire lacing system. They went with traditional laces, so those are 2 changes. The third obvious, because it's again part of the lacing system, that little pull tab thing that they had on the back of the VaporMax 20, that you pulled it back and it just cinched the laces down, or it was supposed to in theory. I had some problems with that here and there. They went away with that again and just went with the traditional laces. So that was the third difference. The fourth difference, which is not one I'm 100% sure I like, is the nylon like strips down each side of the laces, and then you have the little fly wire in between that actually uses that to be able to lace the shoes up. It looks like kind of like they were going with a utility sort of feel for it, or just adding an extra layer on it. So it's not just that 100% just knit upper. Like sometimes you like it and sometimes you don't. Maybe they were just trying to add a little utility to it, and so they thought that it would look cool, but honestly, does feel like it's a little bit out of place. I'm sure that some colorways are going to be able to just tie this in perfectly, but I think that's hard to do because of the recycled materials. It just looks like this is something that just sticks out a little bit on this one. Maybe I'm the only one that feels that way, but leave a comment, let me know if it's something that you guys like or not. But it is something noticeable that they ended up changing up, and I'm assuming it's because they didn't want to have to integrate that fly wire all the way up through for the reinforcement for the lace holes. And the fifth difference on this one is just the tongue. Like the other ones had this kind of recycled material in the middle, like a foam in the middle of the tongue, and they went away with that and just did a straight up knit material, which is honestly more like simple, and simplistic sometimes is better. Although I have to say, possibly it would look better if they kept that recycled tongue on this one, because you don't have that little blocking the tongue, so you'd actually have more visibility to it. So maybe it could have been something that they could have added on here and it would have looked cooler. But leave a comment, let me know if it's something you guys would have preferred to see or not. And also the embroidered Nike swoosh on the side is something that they changed up again. On the 2020 version, it was like kind of knitted in between on the side of the shoes and stuff. And on the original ones, they used like a fused materials, but this one they added just like an overlay on top of it. So they have changed up how they place that swoosh on the VaporMax a couple different ways now, so it's kind of cool to be able to see different ones. But what do you guys think about the VaporMax 2021? Is it on your guys' wish list or not? Check the link again in the description if you guys want to head over to Hibbett Sports and pick up a pair. But the release calendar has been really weird with these. I saw them on the release calendar a while ago, last month, and then they pulled them, and so it looks like the shipments were delayed, and so they delayed the release a little bit. So you'll see these roll out quite a bit now, and I'm sure they'll be all over the place. And hopefully they'll have some really cool colorways coming too, because I think that the VaporMax line has actually done really well. Even though it's something like sneakerhead people might not really love the shoe, everyday people really like the VaporMax and the Air Max 270s as well. So, but anyway, this is the latest and greatest, and I do think that it's pretty good. I think it's better than the 2020 version. What do you guys think? Leave a comment, let me know. Anyway, thank you guys for stopping by and watching. Shout out to Hibbett again for sending over the shoes. Much appreciated. And if you guys have not subscribed to the channel yet, feel free to do so. Anyway, hope you guys have a good rest of the day. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching. Drop a like on the video if it was informative, and hopefully we'll see you guys back for some more videos. All right, peace guys.